Hi, my name is Andrew Israeli, and welcome to the NCSY Alumni YouTube channel. In this week's Parshat, Parshat Behar, we're taught about the famous mitzvah of the resting of the land during the 7th year, the mitzvah of Shemitah. The pasuk tells us, "Daber al bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem," that Moshe Rabbeinu should speak to the Jewish people, and he should say, "Ki savo el haaretz asher ani nosein lachem, v'shav sa'aretz Shabbos la'Hashem," that when they come into Eretz Yisrael, into the land that Hashem is going to give them, the land should rest a Shabbos la'Hashem. There should be a resting period specifically la'Hashem. Rashi comments, and in a very succinct comment, Rashi writes, Shabbos la'Hashem, l'shem Hashem. That you might come to think that the goal of Shemitah is for something agricultural. Perhaps the land is going to be easier to plow in the 8th year, the 1st year of the next cycle. Perhaps the crops are going to look better. Perhaps there is an ulterior motive to the mitzvah of Shemitah. And Rashi tells us that no, that the main goal of Shemitah, the main goal of so many intricacies and complexities behind all of the rules of Shemitah is l'shem Hashem. That everything we do when observing the halachos of Shemitah should be channeled directly at the Ribbono Shel Olam. Rabbi Rucham Lubavitch, the famous mashgiach of the Mir Yeshiva, comments and adds his own idea as to what the phrase Shabbos la'Hashem actually means. Rabbi Rucham Lubavitch quotes the Hakdama, the introduction of one of our famous Rishonim, the Ravid, to his Sefer Ba'alei HaNefesh, where the Ravid tells us that the fundamental idea behind many of the mitzvos that Hashem commanded us to do is for the goal of, as the Ravid puts it, Leman Yeda Ha'adam Ki Yesh Lo Borei HaMoshel Alav. That a person should know that what he's doing should allow him, should bring him to a state of recognition and acknowledgement that there's a creator of the world, and that the creator of the world is ruling over everything. Therefore, says Rabbi Rucham Lubavitch, Hashem surrounded us with so many mitzvos, that with all of the actions we take and all of the movements we make, we have the ability to remind ourselves, to remember that this comes from Hashem. Rabbi Rucham Lubavitch quotes the pasuk that says, "Hashemayim shamayim Hashem v'ha'aretz nasan l'vnei Adam," and points out that when we look at the phrase "v'ha'aretz nasan l'vnei Adam," that the land was given to mankind, that we have to acknowledge the fact that the land was given to us by a giver. That the pasuk doesn't say "ha'aretz livnei Adam." The pasuk specifically points out "ha'aretz nasan livnei Adam." It was given to us by somebody who is the Baalim, who is the owner of that field. It is therefore that when we observe the mitzvahs of Shemitah, when we think about all of the stringencies and complexities of this mitzvah, we have to channel them straight to our recognition, to our understanding of this phrase, Leman Yeda Ha'adam Ki Yesh Lo Borei HaMoshel Alav. That the mitzvah of Shemitah is supposed to serve as a reminder that all of what's come, all of the field, all of the sustenance that's come from this field over the past 6 years is really straight from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that without His help, there's no way we could have accomplished everything that we've accomplished. That we could have gone out early in the morning to plow our fields, and late at night gathered all of the crops from the miles and miles of fields that we might own. But at the end of the day, without the help of Hashem, we never would have been able to accomplish any of it. The Rambam in Hilchos Brachos discusses why Chazal enacted, why Chazal gave us so many brachos to say on a daily basis. We know that we have Birchos HaNehenin, brachos that we make for things that we get benefit from, Birchos HaShevach, brachos that we say to give praise to Hashem. We have Birchos HaMitzvah, we have brachos that we make on certain mitzvahs that we do. And the Rambam tells us that the reason that we have so many mitzvos, the reason that we have so many brachos surrounding these mitzvos, is that there's always a reminder with whatever we're doing, with every piece of food that we eat, with every wonder of nature that we see, that we have to remind ourselves this exact goal, Leman Yeda Ha'adam Ki Yesh Lo Borei HaMoshel Alav. That a bracha serves as a reminder, that a bracha serves as somebody knocking on our shoulders and just says, Shem is reminding us. Shem knocks on our shoulders and says, just reminding you that I'm here. Rabbi Rucham Lubavitch goes on to point out, and he says that it's very easy for us to lose focus as to what the goal of Shemitah is. That, like I said originally, that we could have thought that there were so many other ideas, that there were so many other goals of the Shemitah cycle, the Shemitah process. But in essence, the main goal is l'shem Hashem. The main goal is, as the Ravid points out, Leman Yeda Ha'adam Ki Yesh Lo Borei HaMoshel Alav. That we have to come to the recognition and the acknowledgement that Hashem is ruling over the world, that none of which we accomplished would have been possible without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and in order to observe all of the laws of Shemitah, we have to try and channel them as much as we can, as best as we can, into our service of God, into our avodas Hashem, to ultimately have the greatest relationship with God, but to see that which we've had accomplished as really a chesed, as really an act of benevolence on behalf of the Ribbono Shel Olam himself. And that is the goal of Shemitah. That's what Rashi points out. L'shem Hashem, Shabbos LaHashem, actually comes to teach us. And that's what the Ravid and the Rambam point out to when they're discussing why we have so many brachos, why Chazal enacted so many brachos, for us to always have that reminder throughout our daily lives that all of that which we do, all of that which we are given, comes straight from HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, and without the help of God, we cannot accomplish anything. Have a good Shabbos.